You've seen it, right? It's all over your feeds. These absolutely stunning portraits, crazy fantastical landscapes, videos that look like they've been pulled right out of a dream. AI-generated creativity is just exploding. It's getting better and faster and, honestly, a little scary good every single day. But even while you're looking at it, marveling at what a machine can do, there's this weird feeling, isn't there? A little question in the back of your head that says, why does knowing it was made by an AI change everything about how I feel about it? Well, today we are going to pull that feeling apart and see what's inside. We're going to start with just how powerful this creative machine has become. Then we'll get into the really juicy stuff, the deep-seated human bias we all seem to have against it. We'll even look at a sort of acceptance formula, see how art is becoming something more than just an image. And finally, we'll get to the real heart of it all, our constant human search for a story. All right, so to really get what's going on, you first have to appreciate the massive scale of this revolution. I mean, we are so far past the clunky, slow tools of just a couple of years ago. This is a brand new creative force that is totally rewriting the rules for entire industries, especially for something we all see every day: short videos. Get a load of that number, a 100% increase in efficiency. That's not just a little bump, that is a complete game changer. And it's happening because these new AI tools are doing everything all at once. We're talking writing scripts, designing the visuals, even composing the music, and then weaving it all together seamlessly. You know, a workflow that would have taken a whole team of people days to finish can now be done in minutes. But here's the thing. This incredible power isn't really just about making stuff faster. It's about a single creative idea inside a machine that can spit out 1 million unique stories for 1 million different people, all in real time. But you see, as AI gets better and better at the how of creation, it makes us ask a much, much deeper question about the who. And that is where things start to get really complicated. So, as these AIs get so good that you literally can't tell their work from a human's, this wild paradox pops up. Even with flawless technical skill, we humans have this powerful, totally measurable, and kind of subconscious bias against the art it makes. It's like there's a human-shaped hole in how much we appreciate it. And listen, this isn't just some late-night philosophical question anymore. Researchers set up this really clever experiment to put this exact question to the test. They wanted to know, is the value we see in a painting purely in the paint and the canvas, or is it tied up in who we think the artist is? The answer they found shows this deep-rooted prejudice that's basically hardwired into our brains. Okay, so the setup was simple, but honestly, it's genius. They took a bunch of high-quality paintings, and here's the catch. All of them were actually made by an AI. And they showed them to people. For any one painting, half the group was told a human artist made it, and the other half was told an AI made it. Now remember, the pictures were 100% identical. The only thing they changed was that little label. And the results? They were absolutely staggering. I mean, across the board, from something as simple as, do you like it or is it beautiful, to way more complex ideas like, is it profound or how much is it worth? People consistently rated the art higher when they thought a human made it. The exact same image was seen as less beautiful, less profound, and less valuable, all because of that little AI created tag. So why? What is going on there? What is it about a human creator that we need so badly? To figure out that why, we've got to dig a little deeper into the psychology of how our brains even decide what's valuable in the first place. And it turns out, whether or not we accept machine-made art isn't random. There's actually a surprisingly predictable formula to it. Okay, so a huge piece of this puzzle is something called the effort heuristic. It's basically a mental shortcut. Our brains are kind of lazy, and they're programmed to believe that if something took more effort, more time, more of a struggle to create, then it must be more valuable. We don't just see a painting on a wall. In our heads, we imagine the artist sweating in their studio, the years of practice, all that human experience being poured onto the canvas. But when we hear AI, we just imagine a button being pushed, an instant, effortless result, and that shortcut just kills the value in our minds. So what's this magic formula? Well, research on AI-generated ads gives us a pretty clear roadmap. It turns out we're way more willing to accept AI art when it checks certain boxes. First, realism. It's got to look natural, believable. Second, it needs vitality, you know? It has to feel lively, like it has some spirit, not just a flat image. Third, it has to spark our imagination. But, and this is the big one, the most important thing is what to avoid: synthesis. The second we see weird, distorted details, like a hand with 7 fingers, that screams, I'm just a weird mashup of data, our brains hit the reject button. It gives us that creepy, uncanny valley feeling. So if we know the formula, it kind of seems like the goal for AI should just be to get better and better at hiding that it's an AI, right? Just get really good at mimicking human effort and faking vitality. But is that really the end game here? For AI art to just become the world's greatest forger of the human touch? Or could there be another way to think about this? And that is the question that a whole new wave of artists is tackling right now. See, they aren't trying to build an AI that paints like a human. Instead, they're asking, what does it mean to create art with a machine? They're changing the whole relationship from one of replacement to one of a real and sometimes pretty weird partnership. And you have to hear this perspective from an artist who works with drawing robots. Instead of fixing the machine's bugs and glitches, the exact signs of synthesis we're supposed to avoid, this artist embraces them. The bugs actually become a feature. They're a source of randomness and surprise. The artist can literally flip a switch to turn the bug on or off, using the machine's own imperfections as a creative tool. It turns a mistake into something totally unique. And this way of thinking is opening up some really cool new ideas. We're seeing things like material intelligence. That just means the art isn't only the code, it's the physical robot itself, the specific way its motors are worn down, the unique pressure of its arm. It creates a physical event that can never be perfectly copied. And get this, the audience can become a co-creator, because how we interpret what the robot is doing can inspire the artist to change its programming. And most importantly, all of this shifts the focus away from the final picture and onto the process itself. The act of creating becomes the actual art. So all of this, the idea of collaboration, focusing on the process, not just the product, it all points right back to that weird, nagging feeling we started with. The feeling we get when we see that human-created label. It kind of proves that our deep emotional connection to art has never, ever been just about the pixels on a screen. Because at our very core, we're just story-seeking animals. When we look at a piece of art, we're not just seeing an image. We are automatically, instinctually looking for the story behind it. What was the creator trying to say? What were they feeling? What was their struggle? And that label, human created, is just a super powerful shortcut. It instantly unlocks this potential story of effort and emotion and experience that we can connect with. And this exact idea, the idea of valuing the journey, is precisely what these artists working with machines are exploring. As this quote says so perfectly, the interest isn't just in the final painting. It's in using the process of a machine painting to ask these huge questions about our own creativity, about our relationship with technology, and about what it even means to be a creator anymore. Which leaves us with one last big question. Right now, we're biased because we can't find a story in the machine's work. It feels empty. But what if that changes? As AI art grows beyond just copying humans and starts to develop its own real processes, its own unique glitches, its own physical quirks, its own material intelligence, will we learn to appreciate that story? Will we start to find value not just in the human story, but in the totally new, unfolding story of the creative machine itself? That, right there, is a story that's only just beginning.